Right. So, first of all, what the Americans are doing in Tehran is essentially war crimes, right? So they destroyed oil facilities. These are civilian oil facilities that civilians need to just live. And the entire city is covered in acid rain. It's black. I'm not sure if you've seen footage from Tehran,
Yeah, I
but
have.
and these oil products are going to cause cancer, long-term cancer. So they doom the civilian population of Tehran. And you know, the irony, of course, is that if there's one place that would be most supportive of regime change, a city that would most welcome the Americans is actually the city of Tehran, with its progressive, well-educated urban population.
Mhm.
And now you've turned the entire city of Tehran against you. You've unified the Persian people because now they see this as a matter of life and death. With regard to the Persian diaspora, well, I mean, like they are just a diaspora, right? So they're similar to the Cubans in Florida. If you go, yeah, if you go to Miami, right, like someone like Marco Rubio, they're all crazy when it comes to Cuba. Right now, look, people forget this, but right now, the Americans are starving to death Cuba. Cuba relied on Venezuela energy, and once Maduro was kidnapped and replaced, then these oil exports declined, and now Cuba is under de facto embargo. They cannot get any energy, and so they don't have water. They don't have electricity. They're starving to death, and no one's reporting this. And these Cubans in Florida are celebrating the fact that wow, now they can go home. And so the same situation with the Persians in LA, where they were kicked out in 1979 because they were corrupt and they were decadent. And that just made them very angry. And they grew up with these stories of how glorious Persia was under their reign. And they are intent on going back and running the country again.
We saw the same thing with Venezuela. They were cheering on their president being kidnapped, thinking that it was going to be freed. They were thanking Trump. And it just shows how many people become victim to this Western propaganda. And in the midst of all this, they are saying now, I'm seeing Lindsey Graham and Trump talk about Cuba is in the midst of this war. Now Cuba is next. Why Cuba now? What is really going on? Is it the fact that they're not involved in the Rothschild central bank system? Why Cuba in the midst of Iran war?
Right. So I think this is very much an empire in decline. So if you just look at all these empires in history and how they behave when they are in decline, they behave exactly like this, where they're going and conquering anyone they can to prove that they are still the empire. So an empire in decline, the decline is basically you cannot reverse decline because your people, the very nature of your people, have become corrupt, right? So before Americans worked in factories and made things. Now let's make things up, meaning that for the past 20, 30 years, the main economy was focused on financialization, creating like these derivatives, and that led to, of course, the 2008 great financial crisis. And America's never really recovered from that.